Felt like a big win, didn't it? It was very entertaining viewing, sitting back watching that battle, and the Swans can be beaten, and they were beaten by Fremantle and Justin Longmuir. I think very proud. He said they came with a plan. They wanted to buffer the momentum of the Swans when they did get going, and well, it was a fine line in the end, but they were able to just hang on.
Yeah, I mean, that's the difference, isn't it, between winning and losing can be that finer margin. But in the end, Fremantle really set the game up in the first half. They came with a plan, they executed, and then they played some sensational footy. And I spoke about the point of difference with this team, and it's been the addition of Sean Darcy back and fully fit and healthy, because when you look at what it does when he's in the side, the clearance differential and the points for, it's not just because of him, but then the impact of allowing Luke Jackson to have a combination with Darcy and Tracy as the three-pronged attack in the forward line. They get more proactive around the clearances as well, and it gives them territory. So while the scoring from clearance has not been significant improvement when Darcy's back, it gives you some territory in the forward half. But they are connected as a midfield group, and the connection with Sean Darcy is significant. So they've won 5.5 of their 8 games with Sean Darcy back into the side. They were 4-3 early in the year when he wasn't playing. But just watch the connection. Like, watch the hit out here and what he provides. And I reckon off the back of your Lloyd Meek stuff, King, I wonder if the big-bodied rucks, now that no ruckman's jumping anymore, these big-bodied rucks that are able to use and manoeuvre are going so well. So just look at the connection here. So Young's getting sat on by Rowbottom, so it creates a little path for Johnson to be the hit to, and then the ruck work from Darcy. So these are the sort of little things that are the point of difference, and why Fremantle are clearly the number one clearance differential team in the competition. It's giving them a great starting point, and they're trying to maximise their strengths as a team. So
they have some weapons that Sydney have to counter, don't they, with that midfield strength? They have a ruckman who's strong enough. Like, Grundy's too strong for most ruckmen, but not for Sean Darcy. What did you see and like, Kingy?
Well, I'm being critical of their counter punch, their ability to move the ball quickly. I love when they move it quickly. I hate when they move it slowly. And I know there's a time you've got to do a little bit of both, Joey, and he schools me every week on this. But when they go, I reckon they're quite brilliant. And they can get through and they can punish. They are a skillful outfit. They really are. And they've got enough speed to get separation across the field. I like their dynamic forward line. So when you do get fast movement, these guys are a different version of themselves. They're able to get it on the scoreboard. So I like the slick handball. I like the quick give. Keep ahead of the retreating defence. That give there, it's not massive. The shift's not huge. But if you don't give it, you drop into this slow, lateral, work the ball for 3 or 4 uncontested marks before you can come through corridor. This can win you a grand final. And we'll show some numbers in a moment that'll prove that. But until you see it, you can't endorse it. And I know there's occasions, and it probably cost them a few goals going slow on the weekend, and I understand that not every play is a scoring play. But, gee, when they go like that, that screams success, and that screams finals footy to me. So their counter-punch work was unbelievable. And this is what I'm talking about. So if you could whack your football club, football program onto an ECG and get a complete health check, Hutto, this is it. Your ability to win the ball back at the defensive mid-zone, the half-back flank area, from the centre square to the top of the opposition forward 50, OK? Your true half-back area. So this is the teams that have won the flags over the last 5 years, where they rank at winning it back in that defensive mid-zone and then getting it on the scoreboard from there. Because you go back against a disorganised team and you get no congestion. So look at that. Collingwood, 1-1. Geelong, 3-1. Melbourne, 1-9. Melbourne do it a bit differently, defend first. And this has been the Richmond plan forever. So what does it look like now for some of those teams coming into this area? And I think this will stack up again this year. So teams that have found form and lost form across the course of the year, it's because of this ability here. And it's done by a committee. I think, if you look at Fremantle's there, the first 10 or 9 weeks of the year, 17th in the comp. Save. Let's not go. Don't worry about scoring, defend. Now, healthy mix of both, or slightly slanted the other way. Second best in the competition, a weapon. Brisbane, 15th, worried about losing Kitty Coleman. You know what? The committee are doing it. The group are doing it now. Up to top 3. You keep going. Go to the next team, Carlton. Carlton, poor at the start of the year, now the best in the competition of getting it on the scoreboard. Your ability to score quickly and freely. This is it here. So GWS Giants have fallen off the face of the planet. 6th. At winning it and 6th at scoring at the start of the season, now 18th. Can't move the ball, can't score. So it impacts your program everywhere.
What does it say about
this is a little alert. It's just a small little asterisk that they've been at the top for so long and everyone's had time to study them. What are we taking off Sydney? Oh, let's have a look at their profile. Let's have a look at how they do it. Take away their uncontested marks, rush them, frontal pressure, all the things that, everyone will map this Sydney versus Fremantle game up to, to within an inch of its life. and see why that would have them ranked 12th, not 3rd. So this, to me, if you haven't got this as part of your game plan, you're not winning a prelim. Because it's the one measure of health to both your defensive program and your offensive gearing.
So, on the back of that, Sydney, we know they've been still two games and percentage clear. They've been such a dominant team. Any worries, red flags? Their poor starts hurt them ultimately, I guess, yesterday. But anything else with what Kingy's saying, or their forward line still?
No, look, if that's their poor performance, you're not too worried about the Sydney Swans. If their three superstars have all had an off day and they could have still won the game after the siren, you're not too concerned about the Sydney Swans. Now, their challenge, and as we've spoken about being at the top, they're going to get scouted. Teams are going to go to work on how to stop the Sydney Swans. Teams will watch what Fremantle did. So it is going to get harder for the Sydney Swans from here. So they need to keep evolving. And that is the challenge. And there are your points about some of the numbers and the premiership teams. And the same with Fremantle. You need to evolve as the year goes on, heading in the right direction and peaking at the right time to win premierships.
A lot of discussions about academies and the rights and wrongs of it. Joey, you wanted to talk about the Suns Academy Awards and the nominations are?
Yeah, for all the clubs. For all
Probably go at it.
For all the clubs that are unhappy with the Northern Academies, look away now, because these aren't even the big three. The big three of Jed Walter, Jake Rogers and Ethan Reid, we know are going to be stars. These are the other three, the unheralded three. Sam Closey, the fine that he's been, the sixth highest rated wingman in the competition this year. King, you just mentioned Brodie Hewlett. He's now in the last 6 weeks jumped into the top 20 best general defenders in the competition. Since round 9, so 7 weeks. And Will Graham, he's my favourite. I love him. Fifth highest rated player, the fifth highest rated teenager in the competition under the age of 20. His game on the weekend, 22 disposals, 10 contested possessions, a goal, clearance. So now Flanders and Will Graham, I think, are moving Tuke Miller out of the midfield.
Okay.
I think Damien Hardwick made a statement. They're not winning the clearances. You touched on it, Kingy.
Yeah.
We saw it on the weekend. Miller moved out, Flanders and Will Graham in. I like the mix.
Flagged this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
So.
I like the mix. I think they should stick with it.
The nominations are.
And the nominees are.
Nominees. It wouldn't be a show without Nick Daicos when the Pies play. And, of course, all the lab analysis with thanks to Xero. Online accounting to make you do business better.
That's harsh, because I'm not sure whether you saw the game, Hutto, but this stuff here late in game was unbelievable. Damien Hardwick even said, you have to put time into this game, this guy, late, in fourth quarters, late in first halves, because the things he does are just ridiculous. He finds energy when everyone else is gassed. He has a happy knack of being corridor every time. And some of the smarts, I don't know how many times we can keep showing this vision, Joey, but if he keeps doing this, I'm going to keep
You know,
showing
you
it.
talk about when someone needs to come up with a plan for a sub. What if you just made your sub a tagger who you brought on late in the third quarter to just fresh legs to just literally go and tag Daicos?
I suggest Steve Monaghetti or Rob Di Castella, one of those guys. But it's plays like this because they're looking for him. You can't leave him. So this is really disappointing from a Suns point of view. They're all invested at the ball. They're all in a state of panic. But the only bloke not panicking out there is number 35. And this is an unbelievable goal. I mean, the smarts to be able to step back in there through that little hole. You just don't see this. So I'm going to keep showing it, Hutto. Every time the little champ keeps doing this, we're going to show it. And I'm going to show it for an hour next week.
If you had to make a call between showing an Isaac Rankin highlight or a Nick Daicos highlight, which would you show?
No, I'm staunch. Sir Nick. He's mine. He's
right,
every week.
Put it up on a poll, but I won't do that.